That about face. That's how I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying?
About face. Look at my young boy. Man, I'll be so proud of you.
When that left foot strikes the ground, I want to hear that stumping sound. Yeah,
Okay.
man. Yeah, I was in it. Yeah.
You was in it, huh? Well, what exactly is that from? What's that? ROTC?
Yep. That's
Okay.
ROTC for sure.
You know, I never got into ROTC. Like I told you before, I was strictly a choir guy, and I pretty much did my thing choir wise. I
You
was
was in the choir
singing.
early?
I was singing early. I was singing in middle school, high school.
Wow.
I was doing competitions. It was serious. I used to be like, no, 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 no. You know, it was real serious, bro. I used to win like a whole bunch of awards. You know,
Oh, you
that
was
bass,
doing it.
that baritone. I used to give the people what they want.
Okay. You had that baritone going in middle school, like 4 school years.
That started from, I don't want to be bragging and boasting, you know what I mean? That started from my days in the choir.
You started from what? Oh, the choir?
Choir church. I was giving the people what they want. And what they want, it was a smooth operator doing his thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You was hooked once you got that first lady be like, "Ooh, your voice." You was like,
it was that first solo. That's what it was, because with that first solo came so much attention. I was gleaming from ear to ear. I used to walk up. You know how everybody walk up in the church, and the choir come in. I used to be. Just giving the people what they want, man. Touching the people.
You sounded the children's church forehead.
And then when I get up there, I'll be like, thank you very much. Yeah, so that's what I used to do. And to this day, I've been singing in the shower, in the car, everywhere. Everywhere there's an audience, I don't care if it's not an audience. I get the people what I want. You know what I mean? What they want, because that's the need, brother. How you doing? I see you went blank. How you doing?
Yeah, man. I had to realize I'm hearing feedback myself. I had the YouTube pulled up on the other window, so I'm hearing the feedback play back.
How was your week? How was your week?
Yeah, I'm answering the wrong questions, ain't I?
It's all good, man. How was your week?
I went to something else. Man, my week was great, man. A lot of hustle going on, a lot of stuff going on. Gotta get done, gotta get it all done. Had Comedy Hills grand opening this Wednesday, man. That went great. That went really great, man. I'm so excited, so blessed to have the amount of support and love that I had over that night, man, and to know that it's gonna continue to go every week. And I'm just gonna keep getting better as a host, as an artist. Man, I loved it. Had a great week, man.
This is Comedy Hills, right?
Yep, Comedy Hills. We had our grand opening. Yes, sir.
Wow.
They did some healing.
I'm gonna find time to get out there. I'm gonna find time to check it out.
For sure.
That's a guarantee. I'm definitely gonna make my way out and check you out. Bet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Every Wednesday, Burn Bar and Grill, 9:00, doors open.
Oh, you giving it to us already? What is it?
Hey, it just something happened like that, But
repeat it. What is it?
9350 Woodward Burn Bar and Grill, every Wednesday, 10:00. Well, 9:00 doors open, about 10:00 showtime, and $10 entry.
Is that downtown, midtown, or uptown? Where's that?
That's closer to midtown, but more closer to uptown, like that Boston Edison district.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I see.
You might see some folks outside that look a little questionable, but inside is beautiful. So
I mean, it's our people, man. Sometimes it's questionable, sometimes it's not. just come on in, have a good time. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Young Mally gonna get them together. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know. Well, you know what? My week, I just say, pretty much, man. I've been, doing this in-house work thing, and I've been loving it, man. And
Mm,
just trying to get a grasp of not having an AC cooling situation.
mm.
So I've been taking a gazillion baths, a gazillion showers, because
Yeah.
it's hot. When I tell
Keep it
you it's hot,
fresh.
it's hot. You know what I mean? So,
Mm.
I gotta make sure this big and sexy stay nice and
Yeah.
cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Yeah. Gotta
you
do
know,
your thing, man.
gotta
Yeah.
do my thing, gotta keep it,
Mm.
keep it fresh, baby. So
Yeah.
I ain't been doing nothing but working on hard. I saw my oldest. She went on her prom. It
Nice, man.
wasn't her year. I think it's junior prom she went on. And I
Mm.
have to say, Malachi, I have to say, young boy, I have to first of all, I have to say my daughter is beautiful,
Mm.
And I also have to say that I'm gonna have to get the gat. I'm gonna have to get the gat. I'm gonna have to get
Hey,
the grenades.
hey.
I'm gonna have to get the 9 millimeters.
We got
I'm
the
gonna have to get
people.
it all
We got the
because
people to talk to then today.
oh my god,
Wow. Yeah.
because she's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't
That's
know if I had the ability to birth something. Well, I didn't birth, but be a part of something
yeah.
that is beautiful as my
You
daughter.
you
Well,
helped
my
create that.
son is very handsome too. So
Mhm.
I saw where that was going. But my
Yeah,
daughter, drop dead, drop dead,
man.
drop dead,
That's
drop
so
dead gorgeous.
great. She got it from somewhere, OG. I can't guarantee it was you, but it was.
You running a thin line because it was from me too. You know what I mean? But you know,
You was
but
there. You was there.
the mom, she did her part. She did her part. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? She did her part. And
We're gonna
the
slide
beauty
out of
was
this like the
the beauty was
back
there.
in the church.
You know what I mean? So I don't
Yeah.
know. You
Congratulations, man. I celebrate you in that, bro. That's amazing to see. Your seed all grown up now. Yeah, about to spread her wings.
well, she got one more year. She got one more year of high school, but
Oh, she a junior went to
look,
prom?
she went to a junior prom. You know what I mean? So she got one more year of high school, and I have to say, because she's out in Philly, it's going to be extremely hard for me, being as though I'm here in the D. It's going to be hard for me to be everywhere. So Zooming and all that stuff, it's going to be hard. I'm going to have to do a lot of back and forth flighting and
You do planes?
I love planes, but I haven't been on one since the pandemic. You
Okay.
know what I mean? So
Well, you
I've
gonna
been
make it
seeing,
happen for your baby girl.
I've been seeing a lot of fights take place. A lot of fights
Mm.
at the flights at the airlines. So
Yeah.
I'm not really keen on being a part of that party. But for my
You ain't
baby
gotta worry about
girl,
that drama.
I'll get there in a minute. But long story short, man, we gonna get it cracking, man. If you know, you know. This is what we doing today. This is Mask Off episode
109.
109. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm trying to get it together, Mally. I'm trying.
It's
I'm
all
trying,
good.
my brother. There we
It would,
go.
it would.
Right, right. Episode 109, in-house horror, Mask Off podcast. You know what we do. We here every Friday, giving the people what they want. We got some special guests. Even though it's
Sure.
not on the flyer, we got some special guests today. Would you like to give some insight who our special guest is today?
Yeah, let me hit it with a motivational minute real quick. I got something for the people. And then
Okay, okay. Give me one
because
second.
you it seemed like you were sliding straight into that. So I'm
No,
like,
no,
what
no,
you
no, no. I was just saying, give some names. You know
Oh,
what I
okay,
mean?
my bad. Yeah, my bad. David Wilborn and Felicia Shaw. They are also the host of the Drop Zone as well as me. Super excited to have them on. They're experts in their fields, and we're gonna talk good. We talking that domestic violence, sexual assault, and they are both on the police force in Highland Park. So David is actually the chief, the head honcho. So
Man, that's so super dope.
I know,
That is
man. We
so
got any
super
you got
dope.
any problem on this live stream? I best believe would be good. Like,
Man, we're gonna keep it straight A1 on this live stream because our goal is not to do anything negative or expose anybody any kind of negative way. We want to highlight what these brothers and sisters out here doing to make a difference in our communities.
absolutely, that's huge to be making impact as they're doing. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about it.
Even though Highland Park always want to separate themselves from the D, we ain't gonna get into that because it's on the east side.
It's separate though. It's separate.
Yeah, it is. It is. I can't even start controversy with that. But what we're gonna do first is we're gonna go straight into the motivational minute. What's popping?
What up, though? Today's motivational minute is about those that are dealing with domestic violence. There's resources out there. There's people out there that understand. There are things that you can do that can be done. It's not your fault. You're not alone. And the more that you reach out for help, you can get it. You can receive it. You don't have to be embarrassed. You have people around that you may not know, but there's resources that are available to you, and you're not alone. And you can get the help that you need and you deserve. And you don't deserve to be in that situation. You deserve more. You are loved. You are appreciated. So start today to make the rest of your life the best of your life. It's your motivational minute.
That's powerful, young boy. When you think about it, it was almost like a personal letter that you're giving to someone. And I hope whoever watches this show is able to receive and take that in and know that, hey, look, I am somebody. I have a voice. I have input. I matter. So I
Yeah.
hope whoever's out there looks at this show and take it in and realize that they are somebody.
Yeah.
And, you know, change starts with you. So if you know that your situation isn't correct and, you don't feel right about it, or you feel embarrassed to be around others concerning your situation, it's time to make that change.
Absolutely. Well said. Got to make that change. And it's okay. It's okay. It's gonna hurt a little bit, but it's okay. You just start making the decisions.
So that's our motivational minute. Before we go to the meat and potatoes, do you want to kick off some comments?
Yeah, let me slide in them real quick.
All right, let's do that. Let's do that.
In the mask off, we got DJ Touch in the building. She said, "Good evening, fellas."
DJ
I
Touch
was
is good. Shout out to DJ Touch.
what up, DJ Touch? She said, "I was in RTC, that lovely green." Throw up. Yeah, the uniforms was extra crispy for some reason. Like the uniforms were so tough, literally, like they would not move. Did they have RTC in suburban schools? I went to Bradford Academy in Southfield, but it was a Detroit school. It was really a Detroit school, even though it was in Southfield. Um, he sings to the cat. Anybody that'll listen.
I think she sneaked this in, but we gonna let that ride.
I think she's talking about you.
I know she sneaked this in.
Oh
That's what
yeah,
she
yeah.
doing.
Oh yeah, exactly. She is. Malachi be everywhere. Grateful, definitely grateful. Got to think about those babies in the middle of domestic violence. Yes,
Most definitely got to think about the babies, man, because at the end of the day, it helps repeat the cycle of what's transpiring in front of
yes,
their eyes. Thank you, DJ Touch. Yes.
yes.
We got any comments anywhere else?
Let me see. We have Facebook. I don't see us on the Facebook. No, that's it for now.
That's it for now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we gonna get it popping again. You know what we do, man. Group discussion, definitely group discussion. I'm not gonna do all that. And I got the wrong thing up. I'm not gonna do all that. I'm gonna hit it with the group discussion, and I'm gonna bring out our guest, ladies and gentlemen, bringing to the show, Mr. David Wilborn and Miss Felicia Shaw. Hello, how y'all doing? Let me switch.
Hey, what's going on?
Yes. Super
Hey.
honored to have y'all on, man, in this platform, a different realm. You know what I'm
Glad
saying?
to be
Different time.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
How
this
Absolutely.
are y'all
late.
Grateful
doing
to
this
be here.
evening?
Is the people actually up?
I know. I know y'all looking at the time like, all right.
Mal had me out late Thursday. Got me up
Listen,
late tonight. I mean Wednesday. Got me up late tonight.
I'm all in schedule this week.
Right.
that's
Stay up
that
for 2
young
days
blood.
just for me. I got
Right.
you.
I shut it down 8:30, so I know the.
Come on, Doc. Come on, Doc.
Mal got that
Hey,
27-year-old energy.
I
right.
know.
I'm like, we're gonna start the meeting at 10. Y'all ready?
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock. He's like, I gotta go to the west side now.
Uh-huh.
Like, boy, I'm ready to go to bed. Please, no.
Right, right.
So, so how y'all doing this lovely evening? How y'all doing?
Blessed busy, man. Blessed busy.
Yeah,
That's
real
what's
good,
up.
real good, real good.
So,
Good.
Yes.
Malachi, you want to go ahead?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So we want to first talk about. Want you all to introduce yourself, who you are, and what you do.
Ladies first.
Thank you, Chief. My name is Officer Felicia Shaw. I am with one of our local police departments. I serve as an officer there. I also am a domestic violence sexual assault awareness coach. I host peer to peer support groups. I've been doing so for about 20 years. Um, I've, you know, I've made it my life's mission to make sure we keep men, women, and children safe as it relates to domestic violence and sexual assault. So we work along, my organization is the Support Room. The Support Room is a culmination of small support groups geared to help people cope with such trauma, such as sexual assault and domestic violence. And we meet every Monday right there at that training center where Chief is sitting. And so we'll actually be meeting this Monday at 6 p.m. And it is free to the community, free to the community. We partner with licensed psychologists and psychiatrists and specialists that help us provide the education, the resources, and the assistance to get people into the safe zone. Also, my partner and I are the hosts of the Drop Zone, founders and hosts of the Drop Zone. We're not just a radio show, we are an actual organization that is in multiple states that provide a platform that aid assist men, women, and children of domestic violence and sexual assault.
Wow.
That's
20
powerful.
years.
Hey, that
That's
was deep. Hey, I got caught up.
That's
She really
powerful,
introduced
man.
that, didn't she?
Along with
because
Malachi,
it
the
seemed
one
like I
we
knew all
can't
this,
forget
but it's at the
Malachi.
Right,
same time,
right.
it's like you really doing this. Like,
Right, right.
Oh, game
Malachi,
time.
you hear this every week.
yeah, but for some reason it hit different tonight. Like, that's like, especially the longevity of it. That's what stood out to me tonight. Was like 20 years. Somebody could do something for 5 years, but
Right,
20
right.
years doing the same thing, helping the same group of people. That's a lot of change in that area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Big time.
And
Yeah, yeah.
for
that's
sure.
what it takes. Just in life, we have these gifts and abilities and these things that we're passionate about, and that brings light in that area, and that's our job. So that's beautiful. Mr.
It,
Wilborn.
Yes, sir. My name is David Wilborn. I am the deputy chief in the local city here in the state of Michigan. They call me DC for deputy chief. I'm also am the owner and CEO of DNL Security and Personal Protection, where I have a full service security company, armed security. I also do such training such as CPL, basic self defense, active shooter, uh, weapons, anything weapons I can train in. I hold two black belts, a brown belt, and like I tell everybody in my CPL class, I'm from Linwood Law. Along with that, I've also teamed up with the support room to assist with the aid and domestic violence and things like that and sexual assault. So where I come in is I actually hold and host basic self-defense classes to always show young ladies, older, middle-aged, whatever, if they're in that situation. Because what happens is a lot of women come to the class to get their guns because along with just personal protection, but some of them actually have domestic situations. I had a lady in my class one time. She came in to learn how to kill her husband, And I'm sitting here training her, and she taking all my classes, and I'm setting her up, setting her up for the kill. But luckily, we got hold to it real quick and kind of had to diffuse that pretty quick. But I actually train and show them how to defend themselves because every situation is not a gun situation.
Right.
Sometimes it's, but yet it's a situation. But every situation isn't a gun situation. So I show them how to get out of those situations without always having to resort to a gun.
That's good.
That's interesting that you just said that, because I was going to ask what some of the tall tale signs to look out for when you're in a domestic violence situation. You know, because I know it starts somewhere before it gets physical. So before it gets physical, what's some of the signs that you may overlook or need to be aware of that may lead to things going in a different direction as far as the relationship?
One of
Partner,
the
go ahead.
main things, a lot of now it's men and women that are in domestic situations. You have some men that are getting beat by women. Um, but one of the things you definitely want to look at is behavior pattern.
Yep.
That's a sign that we're going to have a problem when I have first and foremost addressed your initial behavior towards me, and that does not change, and there is repetition. I can start to um, itemize the things that are being done. We tell women all the time, never discredit the most powerful tool that you have, and that is discernment. You
Mm.
are able to discern an atmosphere, and your God gave you that sixth sense for a reason. And all of us should have a measure of it, whether we nurture it or not the right way. But when your shanana tells you something is off, believe that,
Mm.
okay? It's worthy of investigation.
Mm.
And what I mean by investigation is worthy to start taking note and not saying, well, I could have done this or I could have done that. Um, this is someone else's behavior,
Mm.
and you're not responsible for that. So, one of the first signs is definitely going to be um, repetition and consistency in negative behavior.
Mm. Okay. Gotta take note. Take note of that. Don't ignore the signs. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. I wanna bring up this fact here. It says every month an average of 70 women in the United States are shot and killed by an intimate partner, and many more are shot and wounded. I wanna talk about like the psychology behind what would make someone want to do that they are intimate with. Where does that type of come from? Psychology come from?
Well, in my experience, usually it's always something that has happened that was never dealt with.
Mhm.
One of the biggest things in our world today, where there is honestly where there's no real help for, is mental illness. Uh, another fact. I've been doing law enforcement and security for over 20 years.
Mm.
Um, I did almost 15 years doing security police in hospitals. I worked at Beaumont, I worked at Sinai Grace, and I worked at St. Joe's and also Garden City. And honestly, when patients come in and have mental illness, all they do, I promise you, is stick them in a room and keep them doped up for about 30 days, and they send them home. That's it.
Mhm.
If they don't have a home to go to, they may try to find them a place to stay. And they just
Mhm.
keep them medicated, give them food. If they snap or something like that, and we have to come in and deal with them, they just give them more medication and knock them back out.
Mm.
And then after so long, they send them home. So these issues are not being dealt with. So a lot of times, if you actually have the opportunity to talk to somebody, if you listen to them, if you just listen to them and let them talk, it's something that happened in their past
Mm.
whether it be from a little kid some years ago on up or whatever, that was never dealt with.
Yep, that's absolutely correct. A lot of those things that drive people to do that, um, we do find in more than 70% of people, it is something that stems from their past that was never resolved or dealt with. And sometimes it's, and we call that trauma. Trauma is anything that um, has happened that have set us, if I can explain it this way, it set a stain in
Mm.
your life.
Mm.
And it can be triggered. A trigger is something that is a negative feeling that's brought to your um, that's awakened in your life by touch, taste, smell, feel. Somebody can rub you the wrong way and it can remind you of when you were raped.
Oh wow.
Somebody can you can smell a cologne and it'll remind you of your attacker. um, so those are called triggers, and that's exactly what we're going to be dealing with this week in the support room. Triggers caused by trauma. um, and it's real deep. You know what I'm saying? This thing gets real deep. A lot of men start to realize they have triggers. I got a trigger for when I used to hear my dad yell at my mom, and I don't even realize it. You know, and I wonder why, when another man raises his voice at a woman, it makes me feel like I just want to give him two chops to the throat.
Mm.
Because that's something that I heard and it traumatized me as a child, and
Mm.
I didn't touch bases with it until I became an adult. So um, I definitely agree with DC. We got a lot of people out here dealing with a lot of stuff. This is why Sheila is paying for something that Kathy did 25 years ago,
Oh.
or Barnard is paying for something that Richard did 6 years ago, because we
And,
didn't deal with the trauma.
and another thing to add to that trauma is when you start self-medicating yourself. That goes
Yeah,
along with that trauma when you start using alcohol and other factors like whatever drug you may be on to mask that trauma. It just makes a concoction of uh, that's very, very, very deadly. When it comes to anybody that's involved with you.
yeah. We want to talk about where the root of domestic violence come from. It can come from many root. It can come from many things. One thing that we do know is there was an event, okay,
Okay.
that caused trauma. And the trauma is a great reason why we have so much domestic violence,
Mm.
you know. And with our men were taught, when I feel pain, I'm not a man if I cry.
Right.
Don't you cry. You be a man. You man up. You don't cry. Real men don't cry. We taught that as a kid. We teach our boys that as a kid. And so when they have a negative emotion, instead of crying, they redirect that energy and those
Mm.
emotions to a negative action,
Mm.
which typically goes into anger and assault.
Okay.
Whether they're assaulting someone else. And if you poll a lot of these men, or you sit with them in a therapeutic session and you ask them, well, what is it that you really felt? You'll find it wasn't anger. It
Mm.
hurt me when she did this. It hurt me. But we don't teach our young men and our boys to use their voice, use their words to express what they're feeling.
Mm.
And instead, we have them using their fists or weapons.
Okay. That makes sense. So so these triggers and this trauma can be something in the relationship and also something stemming from before the relationship, like a childhood trauma or something like that.
Yeah, and
Yes.
sometimes too, when you deal with men in domestic violence, meaning the man is the abuser, it could be learned behavior. So
Mm.
if they grew up seeing their father or whatever man in their life at the time beating on their mother or
Mm-hmm.
whomever, they grow up thinking that that's how it is or that's the way
Yeah.
it's supposed to be. That's why a lot of times we have so many different toxic relationships because a lot of this stuff is learned behavior, especially in this generation. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think on our podcast last Wednesday we had somebody had chimed in as we were talking about relationships, and they have been married for 53 years. You don't see or hear that anymore.
No, you don't.
You know,
No, you
you
don't.
just don't.
Yeah.
Usually it's 5, maybe 7, and I'm out.
Yeah.
And so so with that being said, some of it is learned behavior. I'm not going to put everything on mental
Okay.
because some of these folks know what they're doing.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but if it's learned behavior, if it's something that you grew up thinking this is okay, then that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Absolutely.
So what a percentage or like a field, because you guys deal with a lot of these cases. Is it more so older from the like 40 and up? Is it the 20 to 30? Like what what's more common age group wise?
Well, as history would have it, domestic violence isn't brand new.
Hmm.
You know, this is something we talked about on our show just this past week. Grandma and grandpa have been together for 53 years. Grandma stayed because grandpa was a good provider and he
Hmm.
would go to work, but he was also a cheater and he may have also went upside her head several times. But there was a different type of submission in those days than there is now. They
Mhm.
stayed in it. They grew old together until Grandpa Fist was just so contorted he was too old to fight
Hmm.
Grandma. Okay, and she took it. Okay, and she didn't leave. I don't consider that healthy at all. There's a healthy loyalty and there's a non-healthy loyalty, and your first loyalty is just to yourself. You keep the main thing, and that's you. And so, but this generation now, um, this generation has very little regard for life,
Hmm.
period. That's why and we have a lot of things that play a part in that. We have violent video games. We have the type of music that our young people are drawn to. We have bad examples. We don't have solid grandmas and grandpas no more. The average grandmother and grandfather now are in their 30s.
Hmm.
They're not in their 60s and 70s.
Mhm.
Coach, go
Yes,
ahead.
sir.
Yeah, I wanted to add to it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this podcast movement that's taking place. There's a movement that's taking place by a particular kind of male, and I can't necessarily say it's a weak kind of male, but the things that you just spoke of, Miss Shaw, on how you know the abuse in the home, the domestic abuse, they feel like a woman should have her role or her place, and um, got Kevin Samuels. A lot of people like that guy. I for one, it was certain things that he said that I was like, okay, cool. But for the most part, there's a wave of men now that look at him as the God. And I'm bringing that up to your point on how it's a lot of weak men that follow that. And they use a narrative of, well, there's not really real women out there. And what they mean by that is they're not submissive like they used to be. And I'm like, well, submissive is not anything you want in a person, period. But it's a wave that's being plugged nowadays. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that wave that's transpiring, but it's really crazy. Like you hear some of these guys talk, and their perception on what a real woman should be is so far fetched that you can't go back to what we were doing in the 40s and the 50s. And
Yeah.
what they're doing really is creating more of a division between us as a unit than anything. And when you
Yeah.
create that division, you start to create violence and confusion, and you ultimately get what we here talking about today, the
Yeah.
demise of us as people.
Absolutely. DC, do you want to chime in there?
Yeah. So, well,
I'm going to switch
it's
my devices, gentlemen.
things are so different now from when it was then, if you will. So, for so many years ago, as my partner stated, domestic violence isn't new. It's nothing new.
Hmm.
It's just been going on. A lot of people hid it, but nowadays people aren't hiding it.
Okay.
Uh, a lot of women nowadays. back then rather, they couldn't fend for themselves. They didn't have any skills. Some of them probably didn't even go to school or graduate. They were kind of taught, get you a good man that's got a job, that's going to provide for you, whatever family that you are make, and that's where you stick and stay, no matter what. But nowadays, women are Fortune 500 and running companies and got their own businesses and lawyers and doctors and things like that. So a lot of it, women just, they don't have to deal with it, whereas 40, 50 years ago, they kind of had to deal with it. So now they don't have to deal with it. So, but yet it's still it's still an issue.
Right.
It's still an issue because you still have that I'm gonna say that that one or two handful of women who still feel that they have to deal with it because they think they love this guy or so forth and so on. The relationship is toxic.
Right.
They may have 4 or 5 kids, and the girlfriend is like, "Oh, girl, you need to leave him," and they're thinking like, "Well, what I'm gonna do? Who's gonna take care of me? Who's gonna take care of these four kids? You
Right.
expect me to grab my kids and go to a shelter? Like, who wants to do that?" I actually know of women who was like, "Skip it. I just stay here and get beat. It's not that bad versus going to a shelter when you don't know what's going to happen."
Wow.
Mr.
So,
Wilborn,
Yes,
I
sir.
remember. I remember when I was growing up, I used to always watch Channel 50, and on
Mhm.
Saturdays they used to always show. You may remember this. They used to always show the burning bed with Farrah Fawcett,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and I'm showing my age when I said
Right,
that.
right. Yeah, me and you both. I'm like, yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah. And so I always remember how that was one of the most, even though it was a white woman, it was one of the most telling shows that I've saw. You know what I mean? Where it depict everything negative that would transpire in a domestic abuse situation. It showed
Exactly.
how the family uh, uh, did a benign neglect situation to the
Mhm.
woman, his
mhm.
family, her family. Even though her family would tell her to leave, uh, his family did everything in their power
Exactly.
to make her stay there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
you know, um, and always that was always a movie that stuck with me that made me think,
Mhm.
man, I ain't never doing that. This woman will burn me
Right.
with me snoring.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That
Yeah.
it's a lot of times we because I remember we had a show last year and we kind of touched on this and I was ignorant to a lot of the facts and reasons of this topic. So I said some things out of ignorance, which was, you don't really know how to sympathize because in your head, all you gotta do is this, all you gotta do is that.
Mhm.
So what are some of the ways and reasons or things that people can do either one to prevent or two get out of a situation that they're currently in?
Well, one of the things, if someone finds themselves in a domestic situation or you see the flicker, because the flicker always comes before the flame. Okay.
Mm,
And you see the flicker, one of the main things is don't talk yourself out of your own safety.
That's
Because a
powerful.
lot of times we'll say, well, he never did it before. Well, by the time someone puts their hands on you, um, they already exhibited some other forms of abuse
right. They
before
already
they
had
even touch you.
flickers.
It's probably one of the flickers may have been verbal abuse.
Okay.
One of the flickers may have been emotional distress, emotional abuse.
Mm,
You deal with a lot of narcissistic people these days that will turn that thing and make you think because I talk to you a certain way, it's your fault. You
mm,
made me do this.
mm,
So don't ignore the flickers. um, when you see the flickers, immediately start to strategize your disconnect.
okay.
And sometimes, and I mean that when I say strategize, because when you're dealing with a person that's got some issues, you may have to work your way
Mm,
away to save your life, and especially if children are involved,
mm,
because he may be triggered if you leave abruptly. So
Ah,
get yourself to safety, but be strategizing every single day,
okay.
every day, and
Ah,
and stick to it. Stick to your process of getting out. Cause that I'm sorry and them roses will make you forget he popped you in the eye. And
oh,
so when it happens again, now you shocked, but he did it before. So why are you so shocked that it's coming again? It's gonna come again because you told him it was okay when you said thank you for the flowers, thank you for the roses, and you
mm,
kept yourself in that position.
mm,
That's crazy.
Your
self
language
worth.
speaks volumes. Don't ignore the flicker.
That's good. That's really good. And like you said, a lot of times I mean, even in life, we talk ourselves out of the stuff that we know we should be doing. We could feel that feeling leading us that way, but we like, no, no. We put logic in there. Sometimes it don't always, it's not always black and white. You gotta see deeper sometimes and follow that intuition, that feeling. Um,
Absolutely. And the first thing I would say, most people that um, most people that are abusers don't want to be exposed.
mm,
Okay, they don't want to be exposed. So you start talking to people, you know, and you start letting people know what's going on in your situation so that you can have some help. And if
mm,
anything ever happens where you have to put yourself in a position to defend yourself, you've already got a paper trail. Go and fill out a report at your local police department. Even if he hasn't hit you yet, let him know um, he's showing signs of aggression. And
mm.
I need to get this documented now
Okay.
because if I'm in a position to have to defend myself, let it be recorded that
So,
Yeah,
this was something that was brewing.
that's
so
good.
my question to you: what is the level of support that police give to people that are experiencing domestic abuse situations? Because you hear time for time, you guys, I came to you guys didn't do nothing to help me. uh I already told you what was going on, and then you get hit. Well, did you file a police report? I didn't, because I came and I told I so what's the level of support for someone who's in that situation can make from what's the level that a police officer can give to be supportive in a sense?
So in that well, the caveat to that is, and I talk about this a lot in my self-defense class and CPO classes. It depends on the individual.
Mm,
So if y'all get into a fight that night, right? Let's say he beats you, he beats her. We show up. Clearly, he beat her, right? Clearly, we arrest him. We take him to jail. Let's say he bonds out. Let's say he got some money. He bonds out, and he's right back the house the same night or the next day. What do you
Yeah.
expect us to do? You
mm,
let him back in. You all got back together, and then he does it again. If the woman never presses charges,
mm.
it's nothing we can do. It's nothing that can
Yeah.
be done if you continue to let him back in the house. Every time he
Yeah.
gets out, and now it's different if he try to come back and you call 911 and you not letting him back in. He's trying to break in or get in by any means necessary. Different story. But if every time we show up, we remove him and you let him back in, nothing. It is nothing we can do with that because you
Okay.
keep letting them back in. As we see so many, as we have seen, I'm sure everybody on this podcast and I has probably seen that at least once, twice, if not three, four
Oh, yeah.
times. But as my partner was saying, they have what they call informational reports. Okay, so let's say nothing has happened to the point where you've been hit, but like you said, situation is brewing. He or she is becoming aggressive or verbally abusive. You can
Hmm.
go to your local police department and file an information report.
Mm.
No one's gonna come out. You say I don't want no investigation. I just need to put something on tap. I need to let y'all know this is happening. You know, uh, I don't need anybody at the house right now. I don't need anybody coming out investigating because I haven't been. But it looks like he's showing signs or she's showing signs of aggression. And the way that kind of covers you is if that situation does arise and you have to defend yourself, right? And it comes down to that, you have on it's been documented that he or she was turning aggressive or so forth and so on. So documentation, that means a lot also, as far as what police can do, as far as what we can't do.
That sounds like you creating a paper trail on somebody.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
you creating a paper trail.
Absolutely.
So
Yes,
in
sir.
the future, if you have to pop,
Absolutely.
you got to pop somebody and bust a cap in their ass. That's what's. Hey, look, I told y'all
Right.
this is what was gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what that sounds completely like a paper trail, and
About to,
that's important to have. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you do not want to be in a situation where you feel like you're helpless, you're
right.
hopeless, and you have no
Mhm.
support. Malachi, you was about to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, it seemed like Felicia wanted to say something.
I was going to say that there are stages sometimes to this thing. Sometimes guys just come up right out and they want to fight you. And, you pretty much knew that when you guys were dating. If you're married, you knew he was aggressive when you were dating. You knew it.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, um, but there are stages to this thing. First, when he starts yelling and screaming and you don't do anything, he's going to try the next thing.
Okay.
And when you don't do anything there, as the trainer told J Lo in Enough, just as sure as he's a coward, he's going to try the next thing
Mm.
because he's thinking you're weak and vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Do not alienate yourself from other people. Um, most people in dysfunctional relationships and abusive relationships, the abuser, one of his main attempts is to disconnect her or him from friends and family.
Mm.
They
Wow.
don't want to be exposed and they don't want you to have that support system. So you keep people coming by every now and then. Keep people coming by every now and then and, let them sit with you. He needs to see you alone. He needs to see you are not by yourself, that you have people that love you and that will be there to help you if anything goes down. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's got to be violent,
Right.
but he needs to know that you have people that care about you and you're not solely dependent on what he is offering you.
Mhm. That's good.
That's
So
real good.
yeah, I'm seeing this. It takes a lot of strategy. You got to be strategic and you got to be honest with what you seeing. So we wanna wrap this up and
Hold
go ahead,
on,
OG.
before you wrap it up, I want to ask this question because it's a lot of men, like you pointed out, it's a lot of men out there that are going through domestic abuse as well. So and we tend to look at the lady's perspective. So in cases where a man is getting the same type of verbal and physical abuse, what's some of the things that they can do? They do the same process, or is it
Yes.
steps they should take?
Yes. They
I,
got, but
I'm
see,
not
here's the
being
thing with men.
funny. I'm just.
No, here's the thing with men. We don't want to say nothing.
Yes.
We don't want to say she over here tripping or she over here beating on me or she's being verbally abusive. Because the one thing we don't want is for a woman to be like, "Oh, that's where you acting, or you acting like a little fag." We don't want that on us. But like we actually had this conversation on the drop, so I've said and I've said again, men, tell, put them in jail if they will do
Absolutely.
it to you. If they're and I'm serious. If it's a legit toxic, she's just verbally aggressive, just and I mean seriously, you can't continue to go through that. And it's the
Yeah.
same thing where she can't continue to go through it, and neither can you. It's not
Yeah.
good for nobody.
Yeah.
Good.
We teach that before it ever gets to an explosion. Those flickers turn to a flame, turns to an explosion. Before it ever gets to an explosion, there have been numerous ways of escape, numerous ways to get out.
Okay.
If But you have to take advantage of them when they're there.
Okay.
You know, even if he goes to work, pack up and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Get your stuff and leave. You take the next day off and you pack up and leave. Even if you're in the heat of the moment and something's getting ready to pop off and he's standing and he's in a room and he's raising sand, de-escalate. If you got to agree with your adversary while he is in the way, agree.
Wow.
Agree. I'm sorry that I said that to make you upset. I'm really sorry. I will be mindful of that and I won't do that again. And when he goes night night, you go bye-bye.
Come on, somebody. Okay.
Use your ways of escape. This is strategy.
Okay.
And
That's
you
good.
got to ask God to help give you wisdom to navigate.
Got to be 10 steps ahead. I love it. So, OG?
No, I agree with you. You got to be more than 10. You got to be 55 steps ahead of the game.
Yeah.
You have to.
You got to keep it moving.
Yeah. Yeah. The time to put out a fire was before it started.
Before it starts. Before it starts.
Yeah, right. So this was great. I want y'all to plug away on the things that you guys, the resources that you guys offer for, what you guys got going and everything.
The support room, we host support groups every Monday from 6 to 8. We give you food and everything, and we deal with some stuff in there. You hear me? Men come cry. It's a safe place. It's a safe space. 17251 West 12 Miles, Suite 201. 17251 West 12 Mile Suite 201 every Monday, 6 p.m. Also, the support room have a 24-hour crisis hotline. That phone number is 248-383-5717. 248-383-5717. Get out while you can.
Yes. Good.
You can just log on to dlsecurity.org. Again, that's dlsecurity.org. Also, the support room link is on dlsecurity.org also. So if you want any classes, any specialized training, so forth and so on like that, dlsecurity.org. You can reach me on Facebook, Instagram. Facebook is dlsecurity.org or David Wilborn. Instagram is SWAT-BFI. I'm on TikTok, SWAT-BFI. Phone number is 248-506-8294. That's it.
That's great. That's great.
So I want to just ask a question to Mr. Wilborn. Is it too late for me to learn Jiu-Jitsu from you?
No. I do not teach Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
But what I do teach can help you.
Okay.
And I tell people what I teach to make it easy, and I tell them it's not martial arts. Basic self-defense is things that you do every single day. And I tell them that so they don't come to my class trying to act like what I'm showing them is so difficult.
Okay.
If I tell you do a pivot, and I'm like, it's the same thing. If you're walking down the hallway this way and you got a cup of coffee and somebody's coming this way, all you do is move out the way. Same thing. That's all
there
you
you
do.
Go.
And most of the times you do it and don't spill nothing. Right? So
watch out, player. All
right.
Hey,
pimp,
Starbucks.
That's it. That's it. Basic stuff that we do every single day. I take that, I put it in a technique and show you leverage. Boom, you're a ninja.
Just like that.
It.
Poof. Just like that.
The comments.
Go ahead, Malachi. Go ahead. My bad.
I'm about to hit the comments real quick. You got something else?
We do host private classes. So as long as you can get 5 people together, we can come and host a private class for you or bring you and your family. I tell get the women in your family together. Get them together, whether you know they're having an issue or not. Get them together because most of the time they ain't gonna tell you. Get them together, bring them. Let us teach them a little something. Let us talk to them. Let us show them the telltale signs, and we'll help you sleep better at night, knowing that they got a little something under their belt to help keep them safe.
Yeah, that's good. We got DJ Touch in the building. She said, mental illness combined with substance abuse. What will be the she asked the question, but you guys answered it throughout. She said, what would be the first steps for someone to leave a domestic violence situation? Oftentimes it's more dangerous to leave than to stay. But you guys answered that. Our mental health system is a joke, she said.
It is.
A person will do more paperwork than receiving therapy sessions.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah,
That's facts. That's facts.
that's facts.
Yeah.
I tell people too, women, if you see a flicker,
I'm sorry. I read her last comment. I'm sorry.
yeah. I tell women too, if you see a flicker, go ahead and pack you what we call an escape bag. Put you some underwear, get you 2 or 3 gas cards, put it in there, and put you some deodorant, some tampons, get you an overnight bag. You're not packing a whole backpack. It's just an escape bag, enough to get you to a safe destination. Gas card, a gift card for food, and don't touch it. Keep it packed and in a safe place. And when you know he's asleep, you take that bag and go because you're not going to have time to pack up everything.
What's
Take
that
that.
called? A go bag? A go bag?
Go back.
Yeah.
Go bag.
Yeah. We call it an escape kit.
Okay.
So
Good.
you pack it and go, especially if you have children.
Mm-hmm.
You know, throw a couple of diapers in there, some powdered milk, whatever, Similac, whatever you got to get, and just enough to get you maybe to the next state.
Just go, huh?
Let's go.
It's good.
This is real.
It's good. DJ Touch again. She said it will take several times to actually leave. That's okay. Each time is a step in the right direction. And then she said they answered all the questions. Awesome guest. Thank you.
Thank you, DJ Touch.
DJ Touch
Yes.
is in the middle.
You guys have been amazing with this topic and everything, and all your expertise. I salute you all for what y'all do for the community in this aspect and everything. This is major. You know, this is one of those swept under the rug topics, even though it's so blatant. You know, because you try to turn a blind eye, just like, you know, racism. They try to turn a blind eye to those things. So
yeah, I don't know
keeping
why.
the conversation going is the key.
You know, I wanted to say, man, I really am honored to be in the presence of people doing beautiful work. And you guys don't get enough credit, you know what I mean, because of what takes place throughout time and space and this energy we in today. It's overlooked, especially with the pandemic. When people start getting back in the house, they start facing a lot of demons they was running from, which made an uprise of domestic abuse even more. So you guys are very essential. I thank you, Daniel, Jake, Malachi, the 4 of us. We all thank you here at Mask Off for coming on and just sharing your platform with us, because you guys could have been somewhere else doing completely something different other than spending your Friday nights talking to brothers that keep smiling at y'all.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's
Thank
a
you. You
pleasure.
guys are
It really is.
awesome. And thank you for covering this needed topic.
Thank you. Well, we always say, once you a guest on Mask Off, you always a guest. So anytime you feel as though you want to come on, pop in, we got something else we talking about, you guys are welcome to come through.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Support room every Monday. What time?
6.
Every Monday, 6 p.m.
Sweet.
And make sure you guys tune into the Drop Zone every Wednesday on simplypodcasting.com every Wednesday at 4:30.
4:30.
Catch Malachi live and it's funny.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, y'all show me way more love over there. That's why, you know.
Right.
That's what it is. We
Hey,
keep them grounded.
this
Y'all
show.
lifting them up. We keep them right here. You know?
Right.
Yeah, no, this show gonna be real special. It's gonna be all about Malachi this Wednesday. So
This
make sure
Word.
Wednesday,
y'all tune in.
it's all
Make sure
about
y'all
Mal.
tune in.
Let's
Catch us
get
on
it.
simplypodcast.com. You can catch us on the Drop Zone Facebook page also at 4:30 live.
No doubt.
Indubitably. It's going to be
Indubitably.
indubitably funny.
Indubitably funny.
All right. All right. So I'm
Much
definitely
love
gonna
to
be
y'all.
tuning in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we're gonna break and let y'all we can talk afterwards, but if y'all want to just hang around for a little bit, we're gonna get ready to close this thing out. So I'm gonna send you guys backstage right quick. Don't go nowhere. We'll be back. What's up,
Yes,
young boy?
man, that was great, man. I love the awareness with these topics, man, because the energy grows, the knowledge grows. You know what I'm saying? And yeah,
Definitely. And the thing about it is in-house horror, man. You don't have to be a part of the horror show. And I want to give a big shout out to Dan for making this
yeah,
uh, 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 what is this flyer?
graphic, yeah,
This graphic, because it depicts so much chaos in a
yeah.
home, and it's showing you that home don't have to be chaotic. You know what I mean? So I just want to give a shout out to the Prez and also to Jake. I know y'all out there doing wonderful, beautiful things, my brothers.
Yeah.
But this is the young bull and the OG at it again, and we holding it down. This is Mask Off, in-house horror, episode 109. You can we didn't have nobody tap in today. Shout out to DJ Touch. We didn't have nobody tap in for the live show because we wanted everybody to get the message without any interruptions. So thank you all for tuning in. And thank you, DJ Touch, and whoever else watching. This is us, man. This is what we do. Malachi, last words before we break.
Yeah, today is actually National Gun Safety Awareness Day, so we right
That's
on
ironic.
target with it. Huh?
That's ironic. That's crazy.
Yep, mask off is what we do.
Hey.
Comedy Hills every Wednesday, One Mic Thursdays every Thursday. Let's get it.
Yeah, you will see Big Tone tomorrow doing his thing at Dinner Detectives at 6:00 p.m. out in Troy at the Embassy Suites.
Nice.
Also coming up this Wednesday, I will be a part of Hip Hop with Tam and Jake. So Wednesday is a big day for both of us, young boy.
Yes, nice, man.
Wednesday is a big day, man. But
we out here.
We out here. I ain't been out here, but I'm about to be out here. You know what I mean? But we're gonna get ready to break up out of here, man. Episode 109, Mask Off, in-house horror. You know where to catch us at on YouTube, Facebook, all that. We stream every Friday at 9 p.m. Also, we going live on a call. Malachi, you got anything to say before we break up out of here, my brother?
I'm all good. Much love, everybody.
Make sure you get out.